Welcome back. Child, tell me why you killed the president. I went up on the roof of the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there. I must have left it burning when I came back down to run my lines. Then my mom called and I left the set to go talk to her. When I came back after the call, the Pterosaurus head had fallen from the roof, and the president was just there lying next to it. No. We did find evidence of a fire having broken up on the roof. It was just a tiny one, so I put it out myself. So we're saying the president died because of Sean? If he did, that would make this whole thing just an accident. What did you do with the head after you found it on the ground? I took it apart, carried the pieces up on the roof, and put it back together again. You're saying you put out the fire and moved the head back to where it fell from? In other words, you tried to cover up the tracks. You're a real piece of work, kid. It's not like I did any of this on purpose. I really did just forget to turn the heater off. Yes, and when the fire had burned through the legs of the table would have collapsed and the head would have fallen down to the ground below. You're right, the fire caused the head to fall. Indeed. And they also happen to have an idea about how the fire may have started. Those cans of paint thinner by the heat are pretty flammable. Not a great place to keep them. And you swear it was an accident. Seems a little convenient. What was the president even doing here in the first place? How the heck am I supposed to know? I didn't see anybody, I swear. I still don't believe you. Yeah, that part I'm a little iffy on because when he saw the president on the tape, he panicked and he was surprised that somebody was there. But obviously they would be there if he saw them dead. Why would President Wang come to a place like this in the middle of the night? His reasons for coming here are something of a mystery, it's true. He met Judge Gavelle up on the roof 2 nights ago, but he was also here on the movie set last night. Did he come to meet Sean? I think we'll need to go over the boy's statement very carefully indeed. Tell me the truth, Sean. Went on the roof trailer, prep kit. Yep. Left weapon on, sure. Mom called, sure. Yep. I'm gonna press that.
Hold it!
Did you notice anything unusual about the body? Oh yeah, that's true. We also still don't know about the yellow crap that's on him. He suddenly seems even more reticent than usual. I don't think he wants to go back over that memory any more than he has to, Mr. Edgeworth. Too bad. I'm sure he doesn't. But is that really all there is? Should I push him a little more? If you're giving me the option, then absolutely. Push him a little more. It was dark, but you knew it was a body nonetheless. He's hiding something. I better find out what. Most people would cry for help if they saw somebody lying on the ground. And yet you didn't. Yeah, because what was the point? He was dead. So you said. What I'm interested in is how you were able to be so sure. Why were you certain that he was dead? He was lying on the ground and that huge head was right next to him. Didn't take much to figure out what must have happened.
Objection!
You couldn't have guessed that the impact would have killed him. How did you really know? I mean, that is also true. It's a prop head? I imagine it's heavy. But it's only fallen from 2 stories. It definitely can kill somebody. But I feel like there's a decent survival chance on that, depending on how it hits you. Ack, fine, I checked, okay? I was scared, but yeah, I went up to the body and looked and he wasn't breathing. So I was right. But why try hiding the fact? There must be a reason. Could you tell me how the body looked at that point? I couldn't tell if he was dead at first. There was no blood or anything, so I had to be sure. Nothing on his clothes either, he was completely clean. So the yellow crap came after him. But yeah, he wasn't breathing. So that's how I knew he was dead. Thank you. I'd like you to add that statement to your testimony, if you don't mind. Where's that? I have a picture of that, right? Yeah. What's the yellow crap?
Objection!
Nothing on his clothes? Nothing at all? Yeah, nothing. Why? Is there a problem with that? There's something you're clearly hoping that we've forgotten. What are you talking about? There isn't. That isn't true. Unlucky for you, we remember it rather well. I'm talking, of course, about the yellow speckles on the president's chest. I forgot he has a bunch of milk in that bag. You studiously avoided mentioning them throughout your testimony. An absence I find suspicious, to say the least. Oh, that's I hope for your sake that you have a satisfactory explanation. What's up? Judge Gavel? Allow me to explain. You, but... The yellow residue on the president's chest, I imagine it was from a bouquet of flowers, lion lilies to be precise. Lion lilies? 2 nights ago when I met the president on the roof of the big building, I presented him with a bouquet. They're a type of lily with large yellow petals. I imagine that substance on the President Wang's chest was pollen from those flowers. Huh, but... They're not in the printout from the security camera. She's holding them and you can't see her hands. Only because the president is in the way. But why give him flowers? That is not something I am... Are you and the president a thing?
Not so fast!
What, more secrets? Are you serious? First you wouldn't tell us why you met with him, and now you can't even tell us about the flowers. My sincerest apologies, but all I can tell you is that I gave him the bouquet.
Objection!
The bouquet that was nowhere near the body when it was discovered. How do you explain that? I cannot. Seriously, Your Honor? Some things you won't explain, the rest you can't. Come on, you've got to give us something here. You wouldn't let this fly in the courtroom. What makes you think we'll accept it? Hey, you leave her alone. Sean. I threw the flowers away, okay? You did? So they were there when you first found the body? Yeah. They were right there on his chest. And they were squashed completely flat. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? They would have gotten crushed along with the president. And the pollen would have been smeared across his jacket front. That does explain things rather neatly. But why remove the bouquet and dispose of it? Because you knew your mom gave it to him and you didn't want her to get, like, linked to this? He's almost as evasive as his mother. More secrets? They're quite apparent. There is no secret. I know exactly why Sean disposed of the bouquet. Huh? You saw me leave the house with it, didn't you? Oh, I get it. When you saw the flowers on the president's body, you remembered seeing your mom with them. And felt the need to prevent her from coming under suspicion. No, you got it all wrong. I don't like her, baka. That's his least convincing lie yet. Bouquet was jotted down. Dead president, updated. I often decorate our home with lion lilies. I imagine that's why he remembered.
Not so fast!
So the flowers his mother was carrying showed up on the president's body, and because of that, he got rid of the bouquet and kept quiet about having discovered the corpse. Well, that ties everything up nicely, doesn't it? A little too nicely for my taste. Why? What's wrong with nice? I guess you forgot, huh? The kid also told us that he was responsible for the head falling in the first place. Yeah, he did. So he's still our only suspect. What's the crime for, like, accidentally killing a president? Like, what's the sentence? From accidentally... Hold on. I got lost in thought. The finger of suspicion still seems to be pointing firmly in Sean's direction, however. Wait, I can think of a far more likely culprit than the boy. What? Who? The person who was holding Sean captive until only a short while ago. That's right, we had to rescue him from a warehouse refrigerator unit down by the harbor. A refrigeration unit in a depot. Yeah. Lucky it wasn't switched on, poor kid might have frozen into a popsicle otherwise. He was doing his best to call out for help, which is how we found him. The sedatives had worn off by then, so he was wide awake and plenty loud. Sedatives? Isn't that what you were given to? Yep, we found the bottle on the floor of the unit. It was even the same brand. 3 Z's. Apparently it's super strong. Well, Agent Lang, surely that suggests that Sean is a victim, not a suspect. Somebody else was responsible, and I think they've been behind all of this. Oh yeah, and the secret mastermind of yours was here last night too? That I can't say yet. It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor. Sadly, we just don't have anything to tie our mysterious kidnapper to the murder of the president. So is there anybody else? Somebody other than Sean who could have committed the murder? Of course. So I was right. The kid is still our only suspect. Not quite. I can think of another. What? Somebody who we just recently proved was here on the movie set last night. Chairman Winter. You think he killed President Wang? Why not? We've proven that he was present. And if he was here, he's as viable a suspect as anybody else, wouldn't you say? Winter, could he really have? It's certainly another possibility to consider. 12 years ago, he was... that number again. 12. How you continue to haunt me. Look, a lot happened, okay? This was all 12 years ago or more. My father and the president being friends, our family being the ones who kept him safe. Lang, like the Lang from 12 years ago. Yep, good to see that you're finally about to pay for your crimes. Even if it did take a while for you to get what was coming to you. Agent Lang, what happened 12 years ago? It's nothing to do with you. I think it has everything to do with me. It's clearly connected to this case. Heh. And you can prove that, can't you? Go ahead. Show me some proof that what happened 12 years ago has... How am I supposed to do that? I don't know what happened 12 years ago. Tell me what happened and I'll tell you how it's connected. Proof? If you can't prove it, this conversation's over. Oh fuck, do I actually have proof? That's 18 years ago. How many years ago was this? Ah! So you do your bit, retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago. Okay, here we go.
Take that!
This is a report about Bronco Knight. It was sent to Chairman Winter by Warden LaGuardia. This last part in particular should be of interest to you. Retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago, in front of the planter. That's not all, take a look at this. This letter was sent to Rosie Ringer, the victim of a murder that happened the night before last. We don't know who sent it, but it does say this. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. Nani? What? Something strange is going on, Agent Lang. Miss Ringer was murdered the night before last, and President Wang not long afterward. There's a connection between the two murders, there has to be. And I believe we can trace that connection to the events 12 years in the past. Am I wrong? These are old wounds you're opening up here. Insults to my family name. Please, Agent Lang, we need to know. Who on earth was that? Shifu. Huh? What are all you doing here? We came to find you, sir. We heard you were looking into the incident from 12 years ago. Idiots. I'm not your boss anymore. Go back to your duties right now. We can't do that, sir. What? You're disobeying a direct order? The president's dead, sir. We have no job. Please, sir, I'm begging you. We all are. You have to reopen the investigation into the SS5 incident. We know you can't let it go until you've figured out what happened either, and neither can we. Well, Agent Lang, it seems your former underlings want the events of the past explained too. You think it's that easy, that you could solve the case just like that? I think we can, together. Ha! Well, alright then. Offer accepted. Yes! Shifu! Man, 3 people allowed. Nice, then I guess it's my turn to step up. I'm sorry, Kay? You're looking into a case from the past, right? I just happen to have something that'll help with that. Ah, you mean Mr. Thief, isn't it, Little Thief? Sure do. If you can give me the details of the incident, I can rustle up a little simulation for you. Sadly, we don't have the files relating to the case. How come? Access to those files is restricted. They're top secret. Really? Why? Beats me. Somebody must have something to hide. Even I've never seen them. Everything I know, I read in newspaper articles from the time. That's fine. Just tell us what you can. Alright. Sad music. The SS5 incident happened on a winter's day 12 years ago. February 10th, to be precise. Your police received a call directly from the kidnapper. I've got the president of Zhang Fa. So he was kidnapped. Yeah. SS5 is the official designation of the president's kidnapping case. The kidnapper wanted $100 million. $100 million? How much money even is that? More than you can imagine, it seems. The last person to see the president that night was my father. They were together at the embassy of Zhang Fa until midnight on the 10th. And nobody knows what happened with the president after that until he was kidnapped. Our government did everything they could to scrap together the money. They were desperate to save him. In the end, they succeeded. The money was handed over, and the president came home safely. So President Wang was head honcho even back then. Wow, go Mr. President. Heh, the length of time he stayed in power isn't even close to the most impressive thing about him. Agent Lang was clearly very fond of President Wang. Wang? Which one was it? Wang. It was, but the investigation was top secret, as was the trial. The trial? So a suspect was arrested. Yeah, none other than our friend, Fifi Laguardia. Nani? Is that why you visited the prison? It is. I was put on what you might call extended leave from Interpol, so I thought I'd use that time to look into what happened 12 years back. And I wanted to see who I was dealing with. She was found not guilty then, wasn't she? Yeah. My father was in charge of the president's security at the time. But they held him responsible for the kidnapping and stripped him of his duties in presidential bodyguard. He stayed on the force, though, and he worked the case alone until eventually he found a suspect. Laguardia. And if you thought she did it, there's no way she was innocent. But they declared her not guilty and the case went cold. My father couldn't take it, he was broken, mentally and physically. Finally, he quit the force altogether. So he has solid ground to suspect Warden LaGuardia. He must have had evidence. He wouldn't have charged her otherwise. But I have never been able to see the materials from the case. I'm sorry, but that's all I know. What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? This is useful information, but I don't think it's enough for Little Thief to recreate the scene. Is there really nothing we can do? You look like you could use a hand. Who's this now? Hey! Franziska! And Mr. Fender. We finally wrapped things up over at the courthouse, so we thought we'd see what you kids were up to. Here. What's this? It says SS5 Incident Investigation Report. That's convenient. You just keep this on you at all times? When Fifi LaGuardia mentioned an incident from 12 years ago earlier, I couldn't help but wonder, so I decided to look into it. Okay, that makes sense. And this is what Interpol provided. Nice work, Francisca. Don't get the wrong idea, Miles Edgeworth. You're no longer a prosecutor. I didn't do this for you. I did it so a colleague could solve his father's final case. I owe you, sis. I like how close they are. But everything related to the SS5 was supposed to be top secret. Yes, but that classification was applied by the prosecutor in charge of the case, Excelsius Winter. He was the prosecutor in charge. Him again. Don't worry. Due to the outcome of this morning's case, he's been stripped of his authority. An outcome that was in no small part thanks to the efforts of his own son, Eustace. So in defeating his father, he made the old case file available to us. It sounds like we owe him. Prosecutor Eustace Winter is busy wrapping things up after the conclusion of the LaGuardia trial, but he asked me to give you a message. Leave Dad and LaGuardia to me. You focus on your case over there. Heh. He's even starting to sound like a prosecutor. Indeed he is. Alright. Now that we have the case file, I can recreate the scene no problem. Excellent. Let's get started. Huh? According to the file, the incident occurred exactly where the plaza is now. That's why he was digging stuff. And what are we waiting for? Hit me with it. Hit me, everybody. Or with me, everybody, not hit me. Alright, Kate, if you could set Mr. Thief in motion. Sure. Look like there's more than enough here to work with. Where do you want to start? Good question. Let's see. It seems that there was an eyewitness. A freelance journalist by the name of Alfadon. But apparently, he was killed by the culprit for witnessing the kidnapping. So this is where he saw it all happen, huh? Here? As in the big building? No, construction of the big building only began a year ago. Man, they built that shit quick. How long does it take a building to be built? I'm in Massachusetts, and there's like construction 24/7. Like, there's buildings in construction that I recall being in construction like as a kid. Before that, it had been a piece of abandoned property. And before that... Now we're getting to the stuff I know. 12 years ago, this place would have been... the happy family home. Like, for retired people? No, it was a place for children without parents. So an orphanage. An orphanage, in other words. The president was kidnapped from an orphanage. Yeah, and the place was run by Fifi... Whoa, I don't like her being involved in an orphanage. She called it her happy little home. As the proprietor of the institution, I suppose it's understandable that she came under suspicion. President Wang, Excelsius Winter, and President LaGuardia. Surely the SS5 incident must be related to our current case. Kay, did you enter the data relating to the murder of Mr. Aldun? It seems sensible to assume that he was killed by whoever kidnapped the president. So if we solve the murder, we solve the kidnapping next. Alright, we're counting on you. Every time we do this, somebody is in shock. What the heck is this? When did I grow to become so blazed towards people's recreation? What we're seeing here is the front yard of the orphanage as it was 12 years ago. At least as far as the police reports describe it. Yeah, this is how it looked when they started investigating at 7 AM in the morning, after the murder. And it seems it had been snowing. Yeah, from what I heard, the footprints wound up being pretty important evidence. The snow fell in the daytime the previous day. In other words, before the incident occurred, meaning that none of the relevant footprints would have been obscured by new snow. I think we'll need to pay these footprints some special attention. Begin investigation of the orphanage. We will do that next time. Save game. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.